Lesson 4, the Islamic world. Now that we have learned about this new religion, we are going to see how it spread and affected the Byzantine Empire. Islam began in the Arabian Peninsula and started to spread to other places. One way that it started to spread was through trade, and another was through war. From the 7th to the 10th century, Muslim conquest added many lands to the Islamic world. Islam expanded outside the Arabian Peninsula. In 1300s, Muslims from Central Asia, called Turks, settled in the Byzantine Empire, and by 1453 they'd conquered Constantinople, which became the capital of their empire. The Ottoman Empire is what they now named it. The Islamic world grew to include much of what was once the Byzantine Empire. Muslim traders brought Islam to Southeast Asia, Central Asia, China, North Africa, and Sub-Saharan Africa, where they created an international slave trade. So we see here in the red is where Islam started under Muhammad, and then it started to spread through around the Arabian Peninsula, which is orange. And then it got even more, expanded even more into Asia around here, Northern Africa, Spain, and then right here we see Constantinople, which they eventually took over. Islam brought with it a system of government, laws, and society. Because the only acceptable version of the Quran was in Arabic, the Arabic language spread along with Islam. Wherever Muslims ruled, there was always a way to distinguish Muslims from non-Muslims. For example, non-Muslims had to pay a special tax. They could not marry Muslim women. Their houses and churches or synagogues could not be out in the open, and they could not hold positions of power. So that made it kind of an incentive to become Muslim because they had so many things going against them. And so kind of gave them an incentive to convert over to their religion. However, they did not make you. You just got a lot of, you were just treated very differently if you were not Muslim. So by the end of the 10th century, the Islamic culture, including its religion and language, was known throughout many lands. This is because of Muslim trade. Muslim trade also brought knowledge and great advancements in the mathematics and science in their contacts with Europe, Asia, and Africa. So Muslim-led advances in banking. The Muslims were the first people to use branch banking. This means that several different banks functioned as one bank in different locations throughout the Islamic world. So what we would have seen back then is that you would have one bank and you would maybe trade and go to a different land, but you'd have to take that money back with you to take it back to your bank. So what they did is they put banks in several places, and this made it more safe to travel. You didn't have to carry money around with you. You could go put it in your bank. Also, checks or letters of credit could be cashed at any of the branch banks. So not only did this make trade safer, but also save time. Traders no longer had to carry gold or silver on their trade routes where thieves were waiting. Muslim engineers built water clocks and many complex irrigation systems. Muslim scientists made important breakthroughs in chemistry. For example, the Muslims were the first to have sulfuric acid to use in manufacturing. In an effort to turn some metals into gold, they developed new chemical processes. The Muslims expanded their knowledge of mathematics after building on ideas from the Hindus and the Greeks. Muslims were among the first people to work with the number 0. The word algebra comes from the Arabic word al-jabr, which means restoring. Algebra was developed by a Muslim. Algebra had many uses in the Islamic world. With the help of algebra, surveyors could figure out distances across a river. Algebra also helped determine the distance between objects in the sky. Muslim scientists even used the branch of mathematics called trigonometry to try to measure the distance around the earth. By using information from the Greeks in trigonometry, Islamic scholars estimated that the distance around the world was 20,400 miles. The ancient Greek mathematicians believed that the distance was about 20,000 miles. The actual distance is about 25,000 miles, so you can see that they were fairly close. Muslim traders found many other uses for mathematics. They used it to determine the times of day when Muslims could pray. They also needed mathematics to learn how to make maps, accurate maps, so that they could make their pilgrimage to Mecca. And last, Muslims had an interest in astronomy, or the study of moon, planets, and stars, which were also tied very closely to Islam. By looking at the position of the stars with an astrolabe, Muslim astronomers could determine directions and make accurate maps to help with navigation. By looking at the position of the moon, Muslim astronomers produced a calendar, and maps were made for navigation and trade. But with calendars, maps could also help other Muslims in the Islamic world know in which direction to take their pilgrimage to Mecca, but also to pray. Muslim made advancements in medicine. One scholar put together an encyclopedia of medicine. He combined the studies and knowledge of Greek, Arabic, and Indian sources. Muslim doctors also discovered that blood circulates throughout the entire human body. That is the end of Chapter 11, Lesson 4.